I've been wanting an excuse to go live for a while. Well, the reason I haven't gone live for a while is because I've always been so late doing everything, and my face has been really bad as well. So I didn't really want to be on live stream when my face is bad. What the heck? I have got a few things to talk about, so why not? I'll just wait for people to come on the live stream before I start speaking, because I'm a little bit busy now anyway, so I'm gonna have to do what I gotta do. When people come on, I'll start talking. I can't remember some of the other stuff that I want to talk about. But I'll just talk about the stuff that happened today, and when I remember the stuff that I was supposed to talk about. I shall talk about that as well. Bamboozle. Heidi ho, Jay. Hey, how's it going? I'm 25 today. Ah, so it's your birthday today? Happy birthday. I'm kind of glad that I got on live today then. Just in time for your birthday. That's brilliant. I hope that this, goes towards giving you a happy birthday. Part of it. Tell me, what did you do today for your birthday? Sorry if I'm a bit quiet. My mum isn't quiet right now because she's not watching telly and the door's wide open. I know it's stupid, but I don't like her listening into what I'm saying. No, not for bad reasons, just, I don't know. I mean, normally she just assumes I'm talking to myself, which is fine, but sometimes for some reason she says sometimes it sounds like I'm actually talking to someone, so I don't know how she knows that. So I get self-conscious. I actually get more self-conscious about my mum knowing I'm talking to someone rather than talking to myself. Know the feeling, hence why I have earphones. Went to Sandbox VR. That sounds like virtual reality, right? That's VR. Did you spend time with family and friends for your birthday? Maybe go out for a meal? Oh, I wish I could send you a card. That would be good. I made some little cards for people, so I could just send it like online. It's like an e-card, but I made it myself. It's not like one of those ones you get online, like a standard one. I actually made it. I just thought it would be more personal to make them. For a few people, it was a standard design I made, and I just changed the text because it was so cute. I kind of feel bad for giving like multiple people the same thing, but yeah, I've with my brother, sister, and best mate. After that, we've had a massive pancakes. Oh, that sounds good. I used to like pancakes, but now I've kind of gone off them. I don't know why. I'd say it's because I favour more like savoury things rather than sweet right now, but that's not true. I kind of sometimes want sweet things as well, but it's like I'm just really picky at the moment. For me, pancakes, I would say, are too sweet. Bit sickly for me, but I used to like them. So it's like your birthday treat. I do wish I could remember what I was going to talk about, though. Ugh, so annoying. What happened today was a bit annoying. So what happened today is, you know what, I don't really want to show my face because I just look awful. My eczema is just so bad, and I was in a rush, so I didn't put my makeup on. So I think I'm not going to show myself, if you guys don't mind. I'm just going to talk. I'm going to try putting the camera on something pleasant so you have a nice visual while I'm talking. 1 minute. I'm going to try and see if I can. It's not great, but there's Fluffers. So I'm just going to go away from my phone and I'm going to get on with dinner. And you guys can have a nice view of Fluffers there. Hope you have a great rest of your birthday. So today I had to go out for my mum's prescription. So I went to the pharmacy that she normally gets her prescriptions, because I needed to get her the emergency inhaler that she ordered today. Because of course she found out she ran out last night. So of course she was only able to sort of get in contact today. So of course it came in today, kind of late. So I had to go and pick it up before it closed. And I thought, well, you know, while I'm there, I'll see if you've got my prescription as well. It's not my pharmacy. It's not the one I go to, just, you know, for convenience. I go to the one near home. She goes with that one because she gets it delivered, so. Because I can't keep going up there, you know, by taxi to pick it up. So it's more convenient to sort of get that one delivered. And then I just get my prescriptions from, you know, the local one. The one that I can just walk to. So that's why we do it that way. But, yeah. So I went to my pharmacy the other day. Hang on. When was it? I forgot. Oh yeah, it was Wednesday. So on Wednesday I went and they didn't have it because apparently they're having problems getting, it's called Betnovate steroid cream, they're having problems getting it in. So what she did was, she said she'll keep trying to order it every day, which is nice of her. And she gave me, you know, a piece of paper prescription just for that prescription, so I could take it to another pharmacy to try and get it. So I tried at Boots. They not only said they didn't have it, but they said that there was a problem with the manufacturer. So, you know, they couldn't do it. And I, you know, so I said, well, where would I be able to get it? And she said that I wouldn't be able to get it from anywhere. So I decided to, seeing as how I was already out and about and taking a taxi and stuff, I decided to, you know, try Asda, my local Asda. So I had him take me to Asda. I went in there. Unfortunately, the security guard that banned me last time, last year, I think October, she was there, but she didn't recognise me at first. So I was able to go to the pharmacy. And I asked, you know, I said, have you got this? And he came out and he said, yes, they've got it, but it's going to be half an hour. And I was like, well, that's great, you know, it's good that they've got it. And I was willing to wait the half an hour. But I thought, that's half an hour that security guard has to figure out that it's me. And that actually happened. Because I was in disguise, because it's bloody freezing, so I'm, you know, bundled up. I've got my hood up, I've got my mask on. See, I wear my mask for two reasons. One is because it keeps me warm. And, oh no, hang on, it's going to die. 1 second, it's going to shut off any minute. Right, there we go. Hopefully it will stay on now. So yeah, I'm going to have to put that down because it's charging, so I can't even put it up. So I'm very sorry about the visual, guys. So please forgive me, but I have to have it face down because I'm charging my phone. I can't put it up right this moment. And even if I did, it would probably just face like another direction, and that's not really interesting. So yes, very sorry about that, guys. So yeah, bear with me. Anyway, so as I was saying, so I'm wearing my mask for two reasons. One, to keep me warm, because it does, covering your mouth actually surprisingly keeps your face warm, so, and my eczema keeps the rest of my face warm, so yeah, I've got my hood up, again, keeping my head warm and everything. And it also kind of doubled as a bit of a disguise. So I managed to slip past her, kind of, without her knowing who I was. But obviously, because I'm, sat there for a while, she kept sort of going backwards and forwards. I guess she suspected it was me, but she wasn't like 100% sure. So she kept passing and like having a look at me. What she must have done was she must have like gone to the security cameras to. So I'm presuming they've got footage of me that they've kept, to remind everyone that I'm banned from there. So she's obviously gone to look at the pictures of me or videos that they've got to sort of find something like in the footage that would give me away now. Hello, Anthony. I'm just charging my phone up so it's kind of face down on the surface here. I can't put it up right, so the visual's a bit shit right now, so I'm very sorry about that. I'm sorry to everyone who has to put up with shit visuals right now. But there's just nothing I can do about it right now. I mean, I could put it up right, but then you'll just see, like, that. Just black. So, yeah, there's nothing I can really do right this second, because my battery is very low. So it's charging. The charger's in the bottom. Anyway, so, yeah. Nice to see you. Hello, all the two people that are watching as well. Okay, so, yeah. So she's obviously gone back to the cameras to check footage that they've got of me, so they can see if there's any determining factors that it's me. And she went past, and we actually kind of locked eyes for a couple of seconds. And then, I guess that was it. She must have recognised my eyes, I don't know. But she came, like, walking towards me, and I ignored her at first. And, she said, I'm not allowed here, I'm banned, I've got to go. So I said, that's fine, I just need to get my prescription. I can't get it anywhere else. It's emergency. And they said it would be half an hour. So once I get that, I will, go never to return. So she said, all right, I'll allow you to get your prescription. And then she sort of just kept going on about how I'm banned and stuff. So she'll allow me to get that, and then I'm banned, so I can't come back and all this. I've got to leave and can't come back and all that stuff. So I said, okay. I said, thank you, that's very nice of you, or kind of you, or something. And of course she said, oh, that's sarcasm. And I said, no, I'm being genuine. Oh my God. I'm being genuine. So she was, okay with that, and she continued to go on and on and on with herself, so. She started talking to the guy next to me for some reason. And I said, can I ask you a question? I said, what exactly am I banned for? So she started listing all these reasons, which, as we know, are all like petty little reasons. Basically just that certain employees are uncomfortable with me or something. And I said, well, the person that you're saying is uncomfortable with me has served me a few times since you banned me, and they seemed okay with me and, you know, pleasant and everything. And then she started going on about the other guy, the other security guard, who was about, at the time, like, it was Halloween last year. I went in with a friend, and he was about 6 feet away or whatever. And he heard me say something that he didn't like the sound of. And he pretty much accused me of, you know, insulting him. So that's what I got banned for, pretty much. Instead of dealing with me himself, he actually came. He got, presuming over that little walkie-talkie that they have. Or he went, I don't know what happened, because I'd gone by then. I went to the cafe bit, so I couldn't see what they were doing. And, yeah, he must have either walkie-talkied the other security guard, the woman, or went over to her and told her that, you know, I'd called him a name or something. And she came storming over and banned me. So apparently it's a few things, but very minor things. But apparently because it made them uncomfortable, that's enough reason to ban me. Me and my mum were just talking about it, actually. And my mum said, oh, it's different now, isn't it? You know, she said back in my day it was different. You know, you couldn't just ban people for stupid things like that, like saying a word they didn't like. Back in her day, they'd basically say, oh, suck it up, you know. So if like they had a problem with you, they had to just suck it up. And the only thing that the actual security guards were there for, to ban people for, was actual crimes, like someone coming in and, you know, stealing something, or like coming in with a gun or whatever, like being super aggressive or nasty. According to the security guard, what I did was I effed and jeffed. Apparently I was swearing and all sorts, you know, like really having a go. I didn't. I said one word calmly. And then I walked off and that was it. You know, I didn't make a big deal. But it's like a year and a couple of months later, suddenly it's blown up to that I was swearing and, like, I was really having a go, apparently. I was really giving it some welly, according to her. I said I never did. They never swore and stuff. And she said, yes, you did. Such a body said so. And I believe such a body. It's just crazy. Anyway, I can't remember what I said, but she said that I said, you know, I can't remember what she said exactly, but I said something about, you know, I'll talk to a manager. I'd like to talk to a manager about this. And she said, fine, you can have a manager, but I'll be there and you'll still be banned and stuff, she said. So I said, okay, that's fine. And she kept repeating herself that she will be there. And then instead of going to get a manager, she actually went into the pharmacy, like behind the counter in the back. I don't know why she went in there, because she said I could have my prescription. But she was just standing there. And she was all hepped up at this point. And I was saying something about her to the man next to me. Probably, I think I was just saying that, you know, that's the one who has a problem with me or something. But she heard me say the word her. And, you know, she started, like, going up in arms because I said her. So I said, well, I don't know your name, so obviously I'm going to say her. And she said, you don't need to know my name. I said, well, I know that. I'm not saying I do. I'm just saying if I don't know what to call you, then obviously I'm going to call you her. So what else am I supposed to say, when referring to you personally? Or anyone? All I can do is say her, him, that person over there. So she took offence at that, and suddenly she was arguing with me. So I said, just for that you can't have your prescription now. So basically the only place that could do my prescription I wasn't able to get. So obviously I became really pissed off, and I thought, oh, they're just punishing me now. They're just yielding power. So like I say, they've got a problem with me for very minor events that happened like 1,000,000 years ago. And they're just punishing me. Because, obviously she's not getting her own way. She's letting me have my prescription. But it's like, but you're still banned. And then she's gone into the pharmacy area where she can overhear my private conversation. Deliberately, I guess, so that, she can hear what I'm saying. And then has overheard me talking about her. So then get offended by something I say. So she has an excuse to sort of say, well, you can't have your prescription now. So yeah, it feels like I'm just being penalised because she doesn't like me. She's got a problem with me. And she's just using this to have power over me pretty much. Because, she's like in a position of authority whereby she can decide who can and cannot come in. So it's stupid because at one time they could only ban you for like things like, getting really nasty and horrible, like abusing staff members. And I mean really abusing them, like effing and jeffing, not just saying like one little word in passing. Although according to her, that's what I did. Now, like I say, it's blown up to the point where apparently I've effed and jeffed and, really given it some welly to the staff members, which obviously never happened. So yeah, it's just a little minor thing happens. And yeah, I get that they were probably upset about what happened, but I don't think it was a bannable offence, like what happened at all. Even if I made them, somebody slightly uncomfortable, I'm just not sure that's a bannable offence. Like I say, at one time, as my mum said, back in her day, people would just say, oh, just suck it up and deal with it. If you don't like this person because they made you feel uncomfortable for whatever minor little reason, it's sort of your problem, so you have to still deal with them because they're a customer. You're a professional. You have to deal with them. Like, we can't just keep banning everyone because, we wouldn't have any customers. But now it's like, oh yeah, the slightest thing. So I was saying to my mum, I said something about, like, it doesn't matter how minor it is. This is the policy now with people in this day and age. With how everyone's a sensitive snowflake. As, that's like a word that's bandied about now, is sensitive snowflake. And it's true, everyone's like more sensitive now, and it's like, oh, that person looked at me funny, so, ban them. I'm upset. Oh, that person misgendered me, so ban them. I'm upset. And everybody has to sort of be all up in arms on their behalf and go, oh yeah, that's a horrible person. So it's like, the policy is, it doesn't matter how minor the offence is. The fact is, you've made such a body feel uncomfortable, and that's all it takes. So if I just exist, I'm just there, and somebody goes, oh, that person makes me feel very uncomfortable right now. They're not doing anything, but they're making me feel uncomfortable right now for whatever reason, intimidated, whatever, even if I'm not doing anything at all, not even looking at them, not even saying anything, but just being there, just existing. So if someone there was to say, that person's making me very uncomfortable right now, then everyone has to take notice and say, all right, so such a body has a problem with that person, in this case me, so that person's out. You don't have to do anything. It's like if someone just takes offence at you existing, that's enough to get you banned. Exactly, it's not illegal. Apparently it is. Apparently words are now akin to violence. People are actually referring to words as violence now. So if you say a word that somebody doesn't like, for whatever reason, like I'll give the example of, Morrison's. So as you remember, all I did at Morrison's was say, I think that's a man. So it's obviously a man dressed up as a woman. He'd grown his hair, and he was wearing women's clothes. And I was unsure if it was just a very manly looking woman, or it was an actual man dressed as a woman, because it's either a transvestite or a trans female, which is fair enough, okay, it's a little bit weird because I'm not used to it. Nobody is used to it these days. And, I refer to myself as male, I identify as male myself, but I'm still, not used to it. So I was just, I suppose, just curious and intrigued. It was an innocent sort of wonderment, like, oh, is that a man or is it a very manly looking woman? Like, because this bit was becoming more well known and more acceptable. So I've never seen that before. I've never seen men dressed up as women before in real life, walking around the streets and supermarkets. So it is unusual for me. It's not something that you see every day. So I just became a bit, curious. And anybody would, if it wasn't me, it would be somebody else. Somebody else might look at someone who looks like a man and is dressed up like a woman. Anybody's going to look and, say something. Isn't it? And in the worst case scenario, go up to that person and start saying something. That's happened to me many times before. I've been approached by people. If I dress different in any way, unusual, I've been harassed, I've been bullied, or people have just come up to me and said whatever, asked me why I'm dressed like that. I could get offended, but nobody give a shit about that. If I sort of went to a shop and somebody said something to me about the way I was dressed, but it's not offensive as such, but they've just commented. Does this mean I could go up to the manager of that shop and say, oh, that person over there has just said, well, why are you dressed like that? And I take offence at that. Does that mean they've got to take notice of that? Surely not. In my mind, I'm thinking, well, I would never do that. I would never go up to a shop manager or whatever and say, oh, that person's just commented on the way I look or dressed. In my mind, it's my problem. It's not the store's problem. So it's the same in this case. Well, so was I. I was curious. I've never seen a man dressed as a woman before, or someone who looks like a man dressed as a woman before. So I was curious as to, what it, could be. Because I'm learning, I'm curious. And I wanted to know. Unfortunately, curiosity always kills the cat. That is a really good saying, actually. I never used to understand it when I was a kid, because I used to hear it all the time. But now I completely understand it. Maybe they should have been a bit more specific with that saying. They should have just said, curiosity bloody leads to bloody trouble for the people curious. But that person, I don't even know how they overheard me, because by the time I said what I said about, oh, I wonder if that's a man, they were way more than 6 feet away from me. They were probably 20 feet away. Quite a number of meters away. Maybe even yards. Like they were nearly at a different, like the other end of the bloody supermarket. And after I said that, she just turned round and looked at me with her mouth open. Sorry, hi Axanu Manumanuma, by the way, and Matt Spurs and Shirley and Anthony. Any new people have come on. Sorry, I got carried away with what I was saying. See, being curious surely isn't a problem, but obviously that person has just gone to the manager, and I don't know what they said. Like, I was saying other stuff, but they didn't refer to any of that stuff. They just said that it was because I referred to her as a man that I was getting banned. Surely that's not a bannable offence. But yeah, again, back in my mum's day, so the normal era. When we say back, because it's even my day, like even when I was growing up, I call it the normal era. The 90s, anything before 2000 was what I call the normal era. And back in those days, if you said somebody was a man and they were dressed up as a woman, you wouldn't get banned from a place for that, or people would get up in arms. The person probably would, you know, the transgender would get upset about it, but nobody would give a shit, you know. They would say, well, suck it up, someone called you a man, so what? Like, you know, so what? You know, you can't ban someone for that. Like, if, like, 20 years ago or whatever, if that person had done the same thing and gone to the manager and said, oh, that customer over there called me a man and I'm a trans woman, you know, I'm offended, I'm upset. The manager would have said, well, so what? We can't do anything about that, you know. We can't control what people think and say and do. Apart from actual crimes such as stealing or abusing staff members, if like someone's dead abusive and is like a pain in the ass, then obviously we can, you know, we can kick them out, we can ban them, but we can't ban someone for, you know, like wondering if you're a man or a woman, or calling, or misgendering. Like back in the olden days, misgendering someone would not be cause to ban someone. It shouldn't be these days either. Like, I understand because I'm like that myself. I understand completely. Like, I used to get pissed off. I used to get really pissed. I still kind of get pissed off when people misgender me. Like, they just look at me and assume I'm a woman. Like, it doesn't matter how I dress or if I have my hair short. They will call me, they'll say this lady, they'll say she, they'll say her, whatever. And I get pissed off, but I don't say anything. I just think, well, I kind of don't blame them. If someone sees someone and they look like a woman, no matter how much they try to look like a man, they're going to say woman because that's what they look like. And if someone looks like a man, same thing, they're going to say, oh, that's a man. They're going to assume that's a man because it's safe to assume something when something looks like something. Plus, they're unsure anyway because they can't read minds. Like, I remember next door there used to be a woman who dresses like a man, and she looked quite manly. Anybody would assume that she's either a man or she's a woman identifying as a man. Did I remember this one time from behind, some bloke said, oh, this man here, or whatever. And then she turned around and he said, oh, I apologise, this woman, sorry. And it's like, well, she clearly wants to be a man because she dresses like a man and she's got hair real short and she actually looks like a man. You could kind of assume that she's wants to identify as male, but that might not be true either. It might be, you know, a butch lesbian. It might be a non-binary person who still identifies as female but likes to dress up more manly, or it could be a tomboy. So tomboys don't identify as anything but their assigned gender. So they're a female, but they like to dress like boys and they like to climb trees and play sports and do more boyish things. So it's kind of hard. So I kind of understand why if people see that you're a female because you look like one, but you're dressed up as a boy, or vice versa if you're a man but you're dressed up as a woman, most people are going to just assume, and they're just going to, because it's sort of safe in their minds, what I call normal people, as in people who aren't LGBT at all. They're cisgender. and they're straight and they're not involved in this community. In their minds, it's sort of safe to think that if someone looks like a certain gender, then they're going to call them that gender. They're not going to think, well, better not assume that they are that gender just because, this is how it is these days. You can't assume. People used to have a go at me in school because once in the year or 2000, I saw this teacher who was fat. I was only 8 years old. She, big house with barrel, I accidentally called her fat. My teacher told me off. I used to do that. I used to I used to see people in the street and I used to point at them and go, oh, she's fat. Like kids. Like, they don't know any different. They don't know it's bad to say they just call it as it is. Like, if they see someone looking at it, like, guess what? I'll tell you what happened to me just recently, actually, like last year, and I think it was this year, but it was early on in the year. It was mainly older men actually that did this, but the doctor told me not to, put makeup on, so I had to go out with my face all red, because of my eczema, like it would be flared up and it would be really dead bad. And the doctor told me not to wear makeup. So I went out, my face was so red. It wasn't blotchy, by the way. It wasn't blotchy, it was actually the whole face was just solid fucking red. And older men would make jokes about it. Like, surprisingly, younger people didn't say anything. And women didn't say anything, whether they were old or young. But older men, they would just like go, oh, is your face red because this, that, the other? Like, oh, is your face red because you had to push your mum in the wheelchair and it was heavy? And the latest one was, did you stay on the tanning bed for too long or something? I was like, what the fuck? Why you, like, what the hell? Like, you don't say that. Like, why would you look at someone with a red face? Like, you don't know, they might be dead self-conscious about it. And it's like pointing out someone's flaw. Like, why would you say that? Why would you say, oh yeah, that person's got a red face? Like, to their face. And making a joke about it as well. Like, I know they're being honest, but they're kind of old enough to sort of realise that you can't say something like that. Like, you can think it, you can look at them and be like, okay, they've got a red face. Maybe even comment to the person they're with and say, oh, that person's got a red face. But I don't know, why would you sort of say it to their face? I don't know, it seems like a bit, like, just why would you? I don't even know what the purpose was in, like, telling me that I've got a red face and making a joke about it. Like, why do they think that that's okay? So it happens to me all the time where people would just say stuff to me that could possibly offend me. But they don't think about the consequences, like that I might get upset. And this bloke did it in front of an employee of the co-op. And excuse me, that was catarrh. It just came. I had to spit it out. I've still got some stuck in my it's like between my nose and my throat, and I've still got some of it. It's caught like really deep down or up, I don't know which one. I've been called that. I called my science teacher a nonce. He didn't like that very much. He explained to me why he hated being called that. Yeah, now with that I do agree. You're not supposed to call people, unless it is proven, you're not supposed to call people that. Because that is a serious accusation, and kids do tend to, not that particular word, but kids do tend to bandy, the more literal term. I'm not sure I'm allowed to say it on YouTube. I know YouTube have this thing about not saying certain words, but the other word, the P word, pedo. And kids, when I was being harassed, when I was about 15, so I was a minor myself. I was 14, 15. And kids, because they used to come and harass me. And when they were trespassing in the property and giving me shit, like, they were actually bullying me. I used to get the camcorder out and record them, and that was to scare them away, or to get proof for the police that they were actually committing a crime because they were on my property and they were throwing things at me and actually, wrecking the property and everything and being abusive. So I recorded them and they called me a pedo like several times. And they used to just tell people this. They used to go away and they used to tell people like that I recorded them and that I'm a paedophile and stuff. And of course, when they tell people this, they don't realize like how serious that accusation is. And they're not going to tell people, well, we were on that person's property and we were actually committing crimes. They're not going to say that, are they? They're not going to say, well, we were on such a body's property and they got the camera out and recorded us for proof for the police and we called them a paedophile. Like, they're not going to say that, are they? They're going to say that they were just casually walking past the property or past me or whatever, and I just got my camera out and started recording them for no reason. Like, nobody's, like, obviously they just lie. And like in this case, this security guard has just lied about me and basically said that I was swearing and cursing all over the place when actually what I said was just one word. It was nice that he explained to you why you can't just bandy that word around, because it can get people in trouble. Like, you have to have proof that they are that way. I called my male supply teacher at my secondary school in year 10 in 2007 Baldy. He took it the wrong way, told me off and told me to stand at the wall. I was upset and angry because he had a bald head. He kept me after school and we had a nice conversation and never called him that awful name again. Yeah. See, kids tend to get excited and they get like cocky and they start getting cheeky, so they hear a word that sounds kind of funny or cool or whatever and they start banging around. Like the word nonce, I will admit, I didn't know what that word meant until recently. So there are a few words that I never knew what they meant, like knobhead. Like, I used to bandy the word knobhead or dickhead about when I was a kid, but I didn't know what it meant. Like, I didn't know what the F word meant. I didn't know what piss meant. I didn't know what shit was. Like, I didn't know that they had meanings. I thought they were just bad words. Like, for no reason, they were just a bad word. I didn't realise they actually had meanings. And the same with the word nonce. So to be honest with you, if I heard the word nonce and I started calling people a nonce, I wouldn't know what it means. So I didn't really, like, I could understand like you calling him a nonce and not really knowing what it meant. So it was nice of him that he actually had a conversation with you and told you what it meant and that it would be a serious accusation. So you just thought, oh, it's just a funny word to bandy about. Well, kids do that. Like, that's why they harassed me, because it's like they hear something about me, say for instance, or anyone, and they think, oh yeah, that's like, I don't know. It's hard to describe, but they just get excited. Like, kids get excited, and if all their friends are sort of saying, oh, such a body's weird, they did this and that and the other, they go, oh yeah, that's weird, isn't it? Like, they don't have proof, they just sort of go on with themselves. And they don't care about the consequences of the other person, because they don't understand pretty much anything unless it's explained to them. But kids generally just like go along with everybody else. That's why I say these kids, they should really be told off when they're giving someone a hard time, but instead these days everybody just believes them. Like, again, back in my day, as we're saying, oh shit, I've just realised I haven't put the oven on. So I think I turned out the way I turned out because obviously I was homeschooled, So I didn't have like peer pressure. Like a lot of kids have peer pressure from their friends. So if their friends don't like somebody, then you can't like them either. So you have to go along with what your friends or peers think. So in my case, with these kids, they've heard rumours about me, and they want to go and check out this weird person that they've heard about. And their friends, know something about me, and have like spread gossip. So they talk about me, then they come and they like say, oh yeah, this is where the person lives. And then they start doing whatever, like throwing stuff over or banging the fence or whatever, like making a nuisance of themselves, shouting, screaming, whatever. And their friends just think it's funny, and of course they're not going to say out about it, are they? Because, I guess they don't know any different. And maybe in their mind they're thinking, well, this is not fair, this person, like we have no proof that this person has done this. Like they don't think that way, they just think, oh, I'll just go along with whatever my friends think. So they know nothing about me, but they decide, well, my friends don't like this person, and my friends say this, that, the other about them. So, So what they do is they used to try and goad me by swearing, shouting, banging the fence or whatever. So that I will obviously come out all guns blazing, won't I? Obviously, it's obvious that if somebody is making a nuisance of themselves, especially on someone's property, it's obvious that person's going to be angry and come out all guns blazing. But in their minds, they go, oh, see, this person he or she is like crazy and a psychopath. Because that's what they said. They said I'm scary. They said I'm a psychopath. But they obviously don't know anything about me. They've just decided to believe their friends. Because I guess, like, with this whole peer pressure thing, if they don't agree with their friends, then they'll be, like, ostracized from the group, or they might get bullied themselves, or whatever, I don't know. So they think it's just safer to go along with whatever their friends think and are saying. That's a problem that I have with school and with kids in general. Is that they will just say shit. And, they expect everyone to follow whatever they do or say or whatever. To be honest with you, I actually don't know, like, what establishes certain kids to be, like, the trendsetters and others to not be. Like, oh, they're the followers, these are the leaders. I don't actually know what... is it just a case of, oh, the ones that are liked best, they're obviously going to be the ones that are followed, or whatever. Like you hear about the popular kids, and you've got the unpopular kids, and then you've got the bullies, and then the ones that are bullied. And it's like, what makes, who sort of decides that, oh, they're the popular ones, and they're the ones that everyone's going to follow, and they're the trendsetters, and oh, they're not, they're shit, It's like they've changed their mind several times about me. There was times where they thought I was weird and strange. And then there was times where they'd say I was cool. So I remember there was a time where they liked, like at the time, if you remember, I started wearing wolf gear. And they liked it. They said I was cool. And they even said that they wanted to do that as well. They wanted to, like, join my pack and, like, be a wolf and what have you. Pretend to be a wolf, so to speak. And of course, another rumour that they're all saying is that I think I'm a wolf. It's like, it's not true. Like, it's just a persona, if you will. But then the next minute, so after agreeing that I was cool and that they liked it and they wanted to... Obviously, they'd go away and they'd talk to somebody else, like one of the leaders, because they seem to have many leaders. So they'd go away and talk to somebody else, and they'd probably say something like, oh no, that's weird, that's not cool, that's weird. So of course they'd take notice to them. And then suddenly they change their minds, and suddenly I'm weird, I'm strange, I'm a psychopath, I'm retarded, I'm this, that, the other, whatever they called me at the time. Like, at first they think it's cool, they think it's great, but then somebody else, the more, I don't know, the leader type. So they change their mind like on a Oh shit. Oh, there it is, sorry. I'm looking for this potato and I can't find it. Of course, it's right there. Sorry, I've got to get on with dinner now, I'm really late. I haven't even put on the oven. And the oven takes about a freaking hour to heat up. So dinner's going to be like super late. Everyone's going to not be happy. So sorry if I ignore the stream and stop talking for a bit. I have to concentrate on dinner. I'm going to try my best to continue the stories. It's hard not to be a follower in school. Like, you have to be really careful. Like, the slightest thing and everyone hates you. I remember this kid, like, years ago, there was this story, and apparently she got stabbed, but not like in the same kind of music as another kid. And I was like, what the fuck? They don't understand it. Let me read this then, okay? Teacher told me that. Okay. Oh, the science teacher told me he hated people that prey on children. But that's what happens in a small northern town. I get accused of stalking by certain people in my community in Sheffield where I live, and kids used to call me a spaz, and they call me a water boy. I was upset. Why did they call you a water boy? Or a spaz? Being called something you're not is hundreds of years old in this country. They just didn't understand you. That's right, they didn't. People usually follow the example of celebrities. Yeah? Right. I was unpopular at college because I had friends who have rejected me because of my autism and ADHD. That's why they called you spaz. Why do you keep calling me that name, by the way? Sean Peace is right. My name is Jeremiah. Lord Jeremiah, actually. I'm the Lord of everything. See, I should be the popular one in this area because I'm Lord Jeremiah, the Sun God. That's obviously my fursona and persona, but it's cool. That's how I identify. I identify as my fursona / persona. I wanted to talk to you guys about autism and ADHD and other mental illnesses as well. That was something else I was going to talk about. Also, hi, Sean. Yeah, people follow the example of celebrities. That's kind of dangerous as well because I actually get pissed off with celebrities because a lot of celebrities do things. And I'm thinking, you do realise that you are an example to young kids and you're doing this and that and the other. And these kids are getting the wrong example. They're getting the wrong idea of how people should act. I'm trying to think. Like, I remember, this one's a harmless one, but this is an example of a harmless one. So when, and this is going to sound really daft, but back when Rihanna was popular, I don't know, she's obviously still popular now, but I don't know, I've not heard about her for a long time until just sort of recent. And she dyed her hair like bright red, like ketchup red, which was really, I don't know, and every young person dyed their hair bright red. And I remember when they were harassing me, one of them had like dead bright red hair, and I said, Oh, they were like criticizing my opinion and my appearance. They were criticizing my appearance. So what I said was, I said, says you, the one who looks like Ronald McDonald's sister. That's what I said. I thought that was dead clever. And they were like, what? They actually didn't know what I meant by that. They were actually confused when I said Ronald McDonald's sister. And I was like, what the fuck? He's got red hair, you've got red hair. You look like a freaking clown, basically. I'm trying to say you look like the female version of Ronald McDonald because he has bright red hair. They really did. It looked really bad. I'm not gonna lie, because it wasn't a natural shade of red. It was just like really red, like I don't know, ketchup red or some shit, and it just looked really bad. Even Rihanna couldn't pull it off because she's obviously darker skinned. So people who are darker skinned and sort of dyeing their hair like bright red like that, it just doesn't work. But she could pull it off more than all these idiots could. You got to realise that not everybody suits a certain hair colour or style. They can't just blindly follow celebrities for their style needs, but not everybody suits it. I'm assuming that's why everyone went around in their night. There was one time where it was trendy to go around in your nightwear, and it was because, I guess it's because celebrities did it. It must be really fun being a celebrity, you know, you could just like start trends, it'd be awesome. I would love to do that. If I was a celebrity, I'd go around in suits and hopefully everybody would like dress smart. That's what I think you should do. I think these celebrities should be like good influences. By, you know, dressing smartly and, you know, looking nice. But they don't, they just look so, they just set all the wrong trends. And here's an example of like the wrong influence. So of course you get celebrities doing stupid things like getting a bunch of like plastic surgery. So everyone gets plastic surgery now. Like I've never seen so many in these like few years, like maybe the past 5, maybe longer, I don't know, I can't remember when I first noticed it, but everybody, like ordinary people on the street, had these stupid Botox ridden lips and cheeks, and they just look so stupid, like freaking duck face or fish face or whatever. It doesn't even look nice, but everybody was getting freaking lip injections. It looks so stupid. It doesn't look, unless it's natural, it doesn't, or you just do it like a little bit, it doesn't even look nice. And then of course all the women are getting bloody boob jobs. So of course girls think that they have to have big boobs in order to be attractive. And the boys don't help, because then they're like, oh yeah, you know, they like go on about girls with big boobs and they like it, and then the girls over here who have smaller boobs and they're like, oh god, I gotta have big boobs to be attractive to boys. So then they start getting like plastic surgery to have bigger boobs. And you know what they say? This is even funnier. They say, oh, I did it for myself. I want big boobs for myself to make me feel good, like to give me self-esteem. I'm like, you gotta be freaking kidding me, right? How is getting big boobs for yourself? How's that for you? When you just literally admitted that you did it because you overheard boys say about how sexy like big boobs are. You've overheard that, you know, boys and men and shit all like big boobs. And that's why you're getting big boobs. It's like, it's not for you at all. It's so that you can attract boys. How's that for you? If it was for you, why the hell would you want big boobs? Because they're heavy and uncomfortable and they don't even look nice. Hi, Issa. Nobody coloured their hair where I'm from. I was 30 minutes late. Yeah, I'm glad you're here anyway. I don't understand duck lips. Me neither, Issa. I worked with a lady who loved her lips. She had work done, and they looked awful, like plastic surgery duck lips. They really do. They look like cartoon characters. Somebody even like did a Barbie like that, obviously as a joke, like to mock people who have it done. Somebody like modified a Barbie doll. Saw it on Facebook videos. And they gave her like these really massive cheeks, and they gave them like these stupid lips. And like, I don't know, they reshaped her eyes, and it looks so bad. It just looks like a weird, I don't know, like an alien or some kind of creature. Axanumanum. That is really fun to say. Hey, guess what? I discovered somebody else with your name, Issa. It wasn't Issa, but it was your... I know your real name, I remember it. From when you emailed me. I forgot your last name, but I remember the first name. And somebody else... I thought, oh, that's Issa. It was actually in a YouTube, like a YouTube list of, like, really cringy or really bad YouTubers, like Chris Chan and Cyrax and King Cobra. And that guy with the weird hair who did these weird clay models. I've forgotten his name. Hell, I watched a video on it last night and I've already forgotten his name. And he did some really bad stuff to hamsters. I've forgotten about him actually, but when I saw him it was like, oh yeah, I remember him. And Elliot Rogers, he was actually one of them. He wasn't actually listed as one of the bad YouTubers, but he was mentioned. Anyway, as soon as I heard your name, I thought, oh, yay, you're one of these YouTubers. Yay. Cool. I've never heard anyone with that name before. The only people I know who had plastic surgery was to fix something like a scar. Elliot Rogers, the Supreme Gentleman. That's right, I remember relating to him. I actually told someone I relate to Elliot Rogers and they got up in arms because they thought I was like a murderer or something. I was like, no, I don't, oh, what's the word? I just said it. I'm not a YouTuber. Oh, that's too bad, Issa. That's too bad. Oh, I can't remember what I said now. I forgot. Oh. Let me think. Relate, that's it, that's the word. I said I related to Elliot Rogers, not because he's a murderer or whatever, but we have a few things in common, but the innocent stuff. Like, there was a time where I got really, like, pissed off because I couldn't get a boyfriend or a girlfriend or whatever. So I remember Elliot Rogers, everybody just remembers him as a killer or whatever. But you got to remember his backstory, and his backstory was that he found it hard to make friends, and he found it hard to, like, talk to girls and get a girlfriend. And he ended up becoming so frustrated. He became really frustrated. And he tried like his best to like focus on other things, but this urge to have a girlfriend was so strong, and he used to get yeah, me too, exactly, Sean, exactly. I admired him and still do. Yes. Yeah, I felt sorry for him as well because I knew exactly what he went through. Like, I've always found it hard to make friends, and I've always find it hard to get like a boyfriend or a girlfriend. So I sympathize with people like him and Chris Chan who like want these things and can't seem to get these things. I don't condone the bad behavior, but I kind of, you know, like the rest of the stuff that these people go through, I kind of sympathize, empathize, and relate to. Like right now, I don't really care anymore, to be honest with you. I've gotten to the point where it's like, well, it's not happening, so it means I just got to focus on other things. Luckily that I've got other things I can focus on that make me happy. Like, yeah, I had plans of how I wanted things to go. Like, I had reasons for wanting friends. I had reasons for, like, wanting a boyfriend and shit. Like, I made up this list of, like, all the reasons why having a boyfriend or a girlfriend is, like, better than being single. There are obviously there were pros to being single and shit, but I found that there was more pros. Like, the cons were probably, like, fewer, but big. Like, they were big. Like, being tied to one person and them getting jealous if you do the slightest thing. Like, if they suspect that you're messing about with someone else, even if you're not. And then they get super jealous. And then give you a hard time. Like, stuff like that is obviously a con. I would rather have a dog. Why would he want a girlfriend? I don't agree with his actions, but I understand. I understand his actions, actually. Like, he got so frustrated he couldn't stand it anymore. There are some people that want something so bad that they just can't live without it, so they get... When they don't get it, they get so frustrated that they do drastic actions. Luckily, I'm not one of those people. There was a time when I got really... I did get quite frustrated. To the point where I couldn't go out without getting pissed off when I saw couples. Or if I saw a group of friends, I used to get, like, really jealous and pissed off. And if I saw couples, I'd get really jealous and pissed off. Especially if they were, like, good looking and stuff. And I'm still obviously get pissed off a bit, but I don't really care as much anymore. I don't know. Which is good. And I'm starting to see, like, the pros of just being alone and being... Like, the cons of being isolated is... I'm the kind of person who sometimes needs, like, a lot of motivation from other people to do something. Even stuff I like doing, I need sort of motivation from other people. So it's like when I became a carer for my mum, obviously my mum was the one, like, the only one in my life, so she was the one who would either encourage me or discourage me from doing something. So if she disapproved of something, I just wouldn't do it. Like, it doesn't matter what. If she didn't want me to do something or she disapproved, it would actually make it difficult to do that thing. So I would just forget about it and just, like, go along with it. The only thing she used to, like, she discouraged me from doing a lot of the things I like doing, like making videos and drawing and like dressing up. She would class those things as pissing about. She used to encourage me to do the things I want to do. Like, especially art. She thought that wasn't pissing about, like, that was doing something useful. But when she became disabled, her priority was me looking after her and cooking and cleaning the house. So she basically said I could do all of these things, but I have to, you know, do them in my own time. And, you know, first and foremost, I have to, like, cook and clean. So to me, that was, like, discouraging me from, you know, doing what I love to do. So even I started, like, discouraging myself from doing things I wanted to do. So I will admit, I kind of lost myself. Like, everything just became about my mum, looking after her, cooking and cleaning. So, I don't know, I just lost my zest for life for a while and I became so depressed and just my mental health went really bad. So being a carer for a family member, unless it's your actual profession, it's not good because there's quite a lot of people who would complain about it. You know, on the Carers UK, there's quite a lot of, like, children, like grown-up children now, obviously, sort of. Hang on. Ah, there they are. Like, looking after a family member. There's quite a lot of, like, daughters looking after mothers. That seemed to be the most common one. There was also a son who looked after his mother. And they all were in my situation or worse. Like, they too had lost, like, to the point where they lost themselves to the point where they didn't know what they liked. they actually didn't know what they liked anymore and what they were into. They didn't know themselves. I've never really lost myself to that degree that I've forgotten what I'm into and what I like to do and stuff. I always know, it's just that I kind of put all that stuff aside because in my mind I was like brainwashed into believing that looking after my mum, cooking and cleaning and doing chores around the house, now because that's all my responsibility, so all that's on my shoulders now, I was convinced that, you know, I had to do that and nothing else, because I basically didn't really have the time to do much else. And if my mum caught me doing anything other than cleaning, she would go ballistic and say, stop pissing about, you're supposed to be, you know, like sorting out the house, you're supposed to be cleaning, you're supposed to be cooking, you're supposed to be doing this, that, the other. And I even felt guilty. Like, I actually felt guilty that I wasn't doing, and even to this day, like, I've accepted that, you know, I should be focusing on me and my life and the things I want to do, because they're still important. I've been told by people that what I want to do, and me having my own life, my own personal self, hobbies, interests, and just focusing on me, like I'm even entitled to be selfish, they said, like you know, you have to look after yourself first and foremost before you can look after other people. And I was like, in my mum's mind, I was looked after because obviously I have a roof over my head and I have food, but there's like other aspects that were lacking, like enrichment things, like going out and socializing with other people. Like, my mum would get offended if I said like she wasn't enough, because she would often like sarcastically say, oh, I'm not enough for you, you know, I know I'm not good enough for you. And I would explain that I have to have other people in my life other than you. And she didn't understand it, because she used to tell me that her parents were enough for her. Her parents and her family were all she needed. Like, she didn't need anyone else in her life. So because I'm not like that, like, I don't think of my mum as my whole world, and I want other people in my life, she gets really offended by this. My mum and dad fostered 3 black girls in 1970. That is really cool. I would have loved that if my parents did that. 1 minute. Let me read some of these. I would rather have a dog. I would really like a dog. We can't even get a dog because we can't even afford one now. It sucks. Friends are great, but I would like to go to a Christmas market with a girl, have a coffee somewhere, have a meal, enjoy the company. That would be really nice. I would enjoy that myself. Relationships can be hard. Most important thing is the communication between people. It is important, but to the point where you're hashing out everything a million times and going into things like every little detail, I think can be a bit overwhelming, especially for my little brain. I like to just have fun with people. Art and cute round flufferpuffers. Oh, hang on, I missed one. Between people in relationships. My religion keeps me grounded and helps me find peace in the state of loneliness. My mum, yeah, I think I've read everything now. Yeah, there we go. Cool. Now, my mum's going to get pissed off at me now because I'm supposed to be doing dinner, but see, I'd be finished by now. But unfortunately, this takes for fucking ever, you know, to do the preheat. And I put it on really, really late, you know. I forgot I had to do it. And I was just focusing on the chips. Oh, my face is leaking. I would love to have a girlfriend that would enjoy big, round, and soft bellies. Yeah, it would. That would be good for you. I forgot what I was going to say now. Oh yeah. So because my mum used to discourage me a lot from doing what I like to do in favour of, you know, cleaning the house, cooking, and generally looking after her. Even to this day, even though I have been encouraged to do what I want to do, and my mum has pretty much left me to it for the most part now. Like, she doesn't make me do anything anymore. She doesn't mither me to do anything now. So I told her that the people on the Carers UK site have told me that I don't have to do anything I don't want to, and that I can say no. My mum got pissed off at that and said that logic is crazy. You know, because obviously I need to do what she physically can't do. And I can pick and choose what I do and don't do. So I'm pretty much neglecting her. So in that, you know, that sort of mindset isn't good in her mind. I mean, I tried to tell them that, you know, like I told them, well, you know, I have to obviously do everything that she can't physically do. Like, I have no choice. Otherwise, she would suffer. Like, obviously, I have to cook. I hate cooking, but I have to cook because otherwise we would, well, starve and die. Or just be on a load of junk food and die from, you know, shortening your life. And obviously I have to change her pants when she needs it and stuff like that. So if I didn't do certain things like that, especially sorting the house out or cleaning it or whatever, I would feel super guilty. And I still feel super guilty to this day. I cleaned the surfaces yesterday. Oh man. I cleaned the you know, the worktop surfaces, and I hoovered with this little it's not like, I don't know, it's like an old hoover. Well, it's not really my duty. I mean, it's been bestowed upon me as a duty, like against my will, if you will. Like, my mum would say, oh yeah, you agreed to do this. Like, all those years ago, she asked me to do it, and she said, you know, like she said, I may as well be her carer, seeing as how I live here, I'm able-bodied and she's disabled and all that stuff. So I kind of agreed to it, thinking I had no choice. But I didn't really want to. Like, I know it sounds bad, like I'm an evil, horrible person, but what I mean is I didn't want to spend my life looking after someone. Like, it's weird to me, because she's my mother. She's supposed to be looking after me, not the other way around. It felt foreign to me. Like, now doing things for my mum felt alien to me. And I kind of resented it. And not just because of that, not just because it being weird, but also because it meant that I couldn't do the things that I wanted to do. Like, a lot of my time was spent doing things for my mum, cooking and cleaning and doing chores. The house is kind of big. It's my mum's house and it's kind of big. So that makes it even more of a chore to clean. I will admit that I used to think that way as well. If it wasn't for my mum, I wouldn't even be here. That is the logic that she uses as well. And there was one other person who told me, like, that she raised me for 18 years. So, yes, I absolutely should look after her to pay her back and stuff. But a lot of other people. So you'll be probably, I don't know, the second, well, the third person to say that, if you count my mum. And the third person who sort of, you know, said that, I don't know, there was these two people. One person said what you've just said, another person said I was a bum of a child, and if I don't like my situation, I should just leave. Which obviously is stupid, because I can't just leave. It's a lot more difficult than that. But, you know, what about my life, though? It's kind of like I'm imprisoned by this duty. Like you're saying it's my duty because she raised me. You're basically saying I owe her this because, you know, she gave birth to me. And I've heard people say, well, it wasn't my choice that my mother had me and gave birth to me. So I don't really owe her because it's not a, what is it? You know, it's not you know, something to be grateful for. I'd say they were nihilistic people though. Obviously I'm grateful for life. But ultimately it wasn't really it wasn't, like I didn't ask to be born. You know what I mean? And yes, you're right. You and those other people. You're right, you know, she did give me life. But now she's taken it away, in a way, by the fact that now I'm stuck having to take care of her to the point where I don't have a life. Like, this isn't really living. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't really want this house. I didn't ask for it. Because if I get this house, it means it's my duty to... Now, again, it's my duty again. It's a lot to put on a child, like all this duty of having to look after a parent and like giving up your life to look after your parent. It's a lot to ask of a child. And it's been bad on my mental health. Because I've not gotten to really, I'm going to say, spread my wings. Like, for example, if I didn't have to look after my mother, I would have been able to focus solely on my art and my characters and my comics and Jeremiah's story, and by now I could be like a millionaire. Or I could have gotten a job as a lawyer or a doctor or, you know, something. I don't know. I could have been anything. But instead I've been stuck in this house, you know, cooking and cleaning and looking after my mum. On top of that, she was quite aggressive and nasty. So that didn't help. I mean, you clearly haven't watched all the videos I've posted where she's been really horrible to me. And she has the same, like, mindset of you. Well, she has stopped me in a way because instead of being able to focus on that, I've been like, it's been put upon me to, you know, cook and clean. And that's got to be my priority. So I don't really have time to... And I mean fully focus on my art. Like, obviously I do still do art. She hasn't stopped me from doing art, but I've not really been able to, like, really focus on it. Like, just get up, sit down, and just do art. And sort of try and promote it and everything. And edit videos. Like, you know, obviously editing videos, like, is quite time consuming. So, for example, if I was to sit down to either write my book, do art, or edit a video, again, trying to promote my art, say, for instance, at any time, my mum could sort of tell me to do something, like get her a drink or whatever, or do food, whatever it is she's asking me to do. So now I'm being interrupted from doing my art, or writing, or editing. And you've got to understand that when a lot of people get into the zone of doing these things, they lose themselves in it. And they're like they become in like that headspace, in that zone. So to be kept being interrupted by someone asking for a drink or food or to do this, do that, the other. Like, heck, my mum even sometimes asks me to, you know, like, to come in. And all it'll be about is to show me somebody on the telly. Like, oh, look at that person. Guess how old they are. You know, it'll be something daft like that. Like, it's not even important. And it's like, I'm in the middle of doing this. Yes, but I'm not really living, am I? Again, I didn't ask to be born, but considering I was born, see, what you don't get, obviously, is that parents give life to children so that those children can one day spread their wings, like I say, get their own life, their own careers, and their own families. But because of this situation, I've not been able to do that. I've been stuck at home. I wasn't able to go to college. I wasn't able to, ever get a job. So now I've never had any kind of work experience. Not that I really want that, to be honest with you. I'd rather work from home. But, I feel like because of this, I've become too, I don't know, like used to this, like a comfort zone type thing. That it's like, how am I going to survive on my own? Like, if she ever died, it's like, well, what do I do now? I don't know how to survive. It's going to be hard for me to get a job because nobody, apparently, according to the people on the, I think this is crazy, by the way, I don't really believe this, but according to the people on the Carers UK site, I'm not employable because I'm the age I am and I've never had any work experience. Apparently people are supposed to gain work experience when they're young and get degrees from college and stuff. Yeah, I can go to college now, but it's kind of like I'm middle-aged virtually. So I have like less time to learn whatever it is I need to get really good at a certain career. So all I could get now probably is a like a menial job, like a shelf stacker or whatever, which is fine. I don't knock that kind of job, but I'm just saying it's a bit, small for like my age group. I want to be more advanced by now, like doing jobs like that when I'm young, and now at this age I should be a manager or something like that. Heck, I should have that woman's job at the at Asda. I should be more further along in life than I am. So if I do all this stuff now, I've got like less time, and it's going to be like later in life when I finally get like more advanced in a career or whatever. It's like I've given my best years when I've been like young and vibrant or whatever to being a carer for my mum. So I've lost those years now. And by the time I finally get to do it, it's sort of like, well, I'm older now. I have less time. And it's just been like it just feels like it's been a waste of time. And neither of us has like we both suffered. Because heck, my mum used to say to me that like she'll get another carer and they'll do a better job than me. Like she literally said I was a shit carer, and that professional carer would do a better job than me. And it's like, well, there you go, they would have done a better job. Yeah, you have to deal with it, idiots though, don't you, Anthony? Some people don't. I have time. I do agree with you that I have time. I think those people are crazy. But I do feel like I'm wasting time. I do feel like I have to sort of make a decision now. Because I don't really want to... Like, my mum could live another 20, 30 years. I kind of don't want to spend all of that time just being a carer for my mum, like, for virtually the rest of my life. And then only getting sort of a proper life when I'm like 50 or 60. So it's sort of... I suppose I could become a security guard. And I might try. Oh. I used to think just like you. Don't get me wrong. I used to think just like you. But, other people, like many, many, many people have told me that, it's bad. The fact that I've been sort of kept being my mum's carer all these years and sort of wasting my life. Like I said, I've been miserable all these years pretty much because I lost who I am and I didn't get any help. My mum wouldn't let me get help, you know. I had to do it all by myself. To be honest with you, I can't believe that I'm having to explain myself right now. I shouldn't have to. The point is, this is not what I wanted to be doing with my life. And it has had a huge impact on me. Because all of this, like, burden and duties and responsibility of looking after a grown adult has been put on my shoulders, in my hands, yes, alone. I've had no support. And it's not fair. Obviously, I'm grateful that she gave me life. I'm grateful that she raised me all these years. And yes, I did used to believe that, well, she's my mother, I have to look after her now. She looked after me all these years, so yes, I have to do it now. I used to believe that. But other people have made me see that it's actually not my duty. My mum is not my responsibility. My mum is an adult, and she has, like, she has autonomy. She can govern her own life. So it's like, if it wasn't for me, she would have to have, you know, she would make the decision that, well, I'm disabled, I need looking after, so I will get carers in. It's not my responsibility and it's not my duty to do it, because my mum's a grown adult and she's responsible for herself. I've been told that no child is responsible for their parent. It's not a child's job to make a parent feel better. It's not a child's job to look after their parent. Like, yes, it's nice if a child does that. Like, if it's their decision to do that. As in, they were really okay with it. And they also have help and breaks and, like, reprieve. Then obviously that's fine. But a lot of them are just guilt-tripped into doing it because, well, like I say, they think like I used to think. And like you're telling me now, that yes, it is my duty, I have to do it because it's my mum. And yes, I did used to think like that. So I felt very trapped. I felt like I had no choice. And it was, like I say, that made me feel worse. The fact that, you know, I believed that I had no choice but to do it. Yeah, it made me feel very trapped. And like there was no hope of doing anything else. There was a time when I believed that I could be my mum's carer and also, like, live my own life as well, but it just was impossible. She wouldn't let me do anything. Well, my mother is responsible for me as a child, as a dependent. She's not responsible for me now, but she chose to continue looking after me, you know, after I turned 18. So she kind of chose to do it, which is fair enough, you know, it's her decision to continue looking after me. But I was able to, like, help out, like, as an adult, so it's not like she was doing it all by herself. When she was looking after me, but I still did some chores. So she doesn't, you know, she had help from me. But she seemed to be capable. Like, when she was doing everything herself, she seemed to be capable, which is admirable. You can juggle both. It's looking like you don't want to. You can go on the dole. Yeah, I could do that. 90% of what people are doing isn't what they wanted. So why is your mother responsible for you? No, mothers are responsible until they die. Well, I keep being told different. Even my mum says, oh, I'm not responsible for you anymore. Once you turn 18, I'm not responsible for you. But then in the next breath, she said, "Oh, you know, never. Your job as a parent is never over." That's what she said. So obviously she knew that was her duty. Her duty was to continue looking after me and being my mother, even when I was an adult. Oh yeah, right, yeah, he said I could juggle both. So yeah, I used to think that, but it actually became really hard to juggle both. Like I did try my best, but as my mum used to say, you should focus on one thing. It's like I used to say I want to do art, but I also want to do piano as well. And she said, well, you have to pick one. You can't do both. You've got to focus on just one thing at a time if you want to get like proper good at it. Like otherwise you'd be like a jack of all trades and a master of none. And I thought, but loads of people do it, you know, loads of people do more than one thing and are successful. So why can't I do that? Of course I didn't say that to her at the time. But yeah, that is true. So you know all these celebrities that get famous for one thing, well they do like multiple people, like this, you know, you got comedians who do acting, you know, they do films. In fact, a lot of them do that. A lot of them do like comedy and they also do acting as well. And then you get some that have like their own clothing lines or perfume or whatever. Celebrities, that is, not comedians. So yeah, just like you, I did believe that I could do both. Like I could be my mum's carer and I could also like do my art and I could have my own life. But my mum didn't seem to think so. She said you can't both have a life and be my carer. You have to pick one or the other. So I guess I just accepted that, you know, I had to just be my mum's carer. And that's because, you know, I thought that I wouldn't be able to, because obviously if I was to pick my own life over being my mum's carer, she pretty much threatened to kick me out. She wouldn't have me living here if I wasn't her carer. So obviously I opted to stay here and be a carer because, well, I was scared to live on my own. I didn't think I could do it pretty much. You know, shit, where's the oh shit, where is it? There it is. God, I think it might be ruined. Oh no, it's not ruined. Phew. Right there. But you clearly don't know me. I am the kind of person who, yes, my mum knows me very well, and I do need to focus on one thing only, because I am the kind of person who gets distracted. I think it's how you said you had autism and ADHD. You'd think you'd understand. But people who have autism and ADHD could not cope with what I'm doing, and I clearly have something like that. I'll tell you what I'd rather. I'd rather her just not be disabled. But yes, I would rather someone else look after my mum. In fact, I would be quite happy if I just had someone to help me out. So my mum was scared, you know, about having a stranger looking after her. She didn't like the idea of it. But it would only be when I'm here. Like while I'm here, somebody else would just be helping out. it's not like she would be alone with them. Like, 'cause obviously she didn't trust anyone else because of stories she's heard. It's like, fair enough. She doesn't have to be alone with them. They would just look after her. Yeah, well, you know, they'd help me out when I was actually here. So it wouldn't be on my shoulders to do absolutely everything. Don't you think that's unfair that I should do absolutely everything? I mean, I would rather just concentrate on myself. I've been doing this for 10 years now, so you can't even say I'm selfish. But there comes a time when, you know, like, seriously, I thought that this was it for me. It really did depress me. I actually did, because of it, I actually did lose interest in the stuff I wanted to do. And it's because of these people saying I don't have to do it. There's actually it's helped me a lot, people saying that, because although I've not stopped being my mum's carer, obviously, as you can see. But it's helped me to see that my life does matter, you know, as an individual. And that it isn't just all about my mum. It did feel before like what I wanted just didn't matter, you know? I was just the carer now. And my wants and needs just didn't matter as much as my mum's. And that's just all wrong. Anyway, I think I'm going to focus on dinner now. I'm going to stop the stream and let this phone charge up properly. I'll talk to you all later. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and donate to paypal.me/Royal Rosewolf. I would really appreciate it, because then that would help me raise funds to be able to live pretty much and get my like comic and animations and stuff off the ground. I'm now going to go focus on dinner. See you guys later.